There is a quiet assumption many women carry when building an online business. If you are working constantly, the money should eventually reflect that. If you are creating content, responding to messages, serving clients, building offers, then the revenue should naturally follow. But being busy and building wealth are not the same thing. And if you feel constantly occupied inside your business while the income does not reflect that level of effort, something in the model is usually misaligned because digital wealth does not come from activity, it comes from architecture. A digital business ecosystem is designed to move people through a journey. Visibility allows people to discover your work. Brand clarity builds trust with the audience. Entry offers allow buyers to begin their relationship with your ecosystem. Sales pathways guide people from interest into purchase, and your offer suite allows buyers to continue moving deeper into your world. When those pieces are not clearly structured, the founder often compensates with effort. More posts, more explanations, more time spent in conversations trying to convert interest into sales. For a long time earlier in my own business, I believed that if I simply showed up more and worked harder, the results would eventually match the effort. But what I eventually realized was that the business model itself was asking for constant energy instead of creating momentum. And that difference is subtle but powerful because when the model relies on personal output, the founder becomes the engine of the business. Every sale requires effort. Every client requires attention. Every new month begins with the same level of pushing. Over time, that pattern teaches the nervous system something very specific. The body begins to associate income with constant exertion. Rest begins to feel like lost revenue. Pause begins to feel risky. And this is where identity begins to shift. A woman operating from worker identity measures progress through effort, how much she produced, how much she posted, how much she did. But a woman building digital wealth begins measuring something different. She measures the strength of the ecosystem. She looks at the clarity of the entry points into her world. She refines the positioning of her offers. She designs sales pathways that allow attention to move naturally toward purchase. In other words, she stopped trying to earn income through constant motion and begins designing a business that converts attention into revenue more intelligently. This is where feminine leadership becomes visible in digital business. Instead of overextending herself to carry the business forward, she begins refining the architecture that carries her work. Her role becomes less about doing more and more about designing better systems. Systems that allow visibility to translate into buyers. Systems that allow buyers to move through the ecosystem without constant intervention. Systems that allow revenue to grow without requiring more personal output each month. Because digital wealth is not built on how busy you are, it's built on the structure of the model you are operating inside. And when that structure is refined, something important changes. Effort stops being the primary driver of revenue. Architecture becomes the driver instead, and the business begins producing income that is not limited by how much energy you can personally give it.